Good evening. This is Duane Lowry for the DPP Grain Desk on Sunday, June 9th. It's currently 2:07 in the afternoon. The outlook for tonight, I think, is we're going to discuss this a little bit more from a perspective, from a producer's perspective, and looking at it beyond just tonight or this week, trying to look at it a little bit more from the bigger picture. First of all, over the weekend, many areas were able to begin getting back into the field. Some planting activity took place. There were some rain showers around. There'll be some rain showers this week. Totals are much less than they were the last time we had rains. The ground's been drying from underneath, and it just takes a little bit quicker period of time for the soils to get ready. And I think that the forecast is such that most of the final planting activity will take place this week. That will be interpreted as somewhat bearish. I think the forecast is probably a little bit drier than it appeared to be on Friday going away. I think we've also got a situation where crop development is far behind normal due to cooler temperature themes. And I personally think that the stage of the crop development at this point on many acres is much more behind normal than just the planting date alone would imply. And I think that here again that's due to cooler temperatures. The forecast shows signs of a warming pattern ahead beginning later this week, and I think that appears to be a new trending pattern of warmer temperatures that will continue through the rest of the 2-week outlook and hopefully for the next few weeks in general. Seasonally, that would be something reasonable to expect as an return to warmer temperatures. I think once we see that, the crop's going to flourish. I'm not trying to say how much it catches up to normal, because that's not going to happen, but it's certainly going to flourish, and it's certainly going to be seen as beneficial. From that standpoint, I think the weather tonight gets a bearish spin, but I think you got to look at a couple different things here. Number one, the weather tonight is going to get a bearish spin based on those factors. Crop development is going to remain slow, which is going to be raise the level of uncertainty and anxiety, and I think that keeps trader interest in new short positions below 540, 550 D's corn is rather limited. I still think that 540 level offers limited downside potential here until the crop reaches past the pollination stage. I think we have a situation here in the case of soybeans, however, where we're dealing with probably some level of larger acreage than what we anticipated during the winter and the early spring. I don't think the planting dates will get as much of a concern towards beans in terms of yield reduction or threat to yield production. So I think the soybeans are more vulnerable from a fundamental perspective here. Technical conditions, soybeans are we've achieved upside targets that we talked about several weeks ago. The market's achieved some type of overbought conditions. Friday's strength is not going to be sustained. I don't think you get any upside follow through here early this week, and I think you're looking at weakness there tonight for short-term weather reasons. I think you're looking at weakness there for longer-term, bigger picture, upside limitation type of perspective based on general fundamental profiles. And I think there's a much greater chance that whether or not we're in the process of establishing the major top in soybeans for the year or not, I'm not sure. But I think I can say with confidence that we're in a price area that any further upside potential will be rather limited unless you were to get an extreme drought type of crop yield reducing potential to develop sometime this growing season. The problem is, let's say that Destiny has a crop problem or a threat to the crop sometime later this growing season. And we get a rally. That rally may start from a level that's significantly lower than where we are right now. So there's no reason to be carrying old crop inventory of beans. I see ample reasons to be aggressively seeking price protection on new crop beans here, and I would not be afraid to be have a large percentage of new crop prices on soybeans protected and priced in. So I think that's maybe the near-term most important job for a producer to look at here in terms of corn or soybeans, is to make sure you get aggressive price protection on new crop soybeans. As far as corn it goes, from a producer's perspective, we've talked about 570 and probes above that as being in areas that's worthy of producer price protection consideration. Since February, we basically had about 3 of those periods of time where we got above 570, most recently at the beginning of last week. I think it's conceivable here that we're going to see some weakness tonight and early this week based on a more favorable look to weather. Last week's lows are probably, probably close to 20 cents below where we finished on Friday. I think it's possible that we can go back down to those levels, but I don't think you're going to be able to build downside momentum below those levels at this time, like I said earlier, until you get past pollination. I think it's also possible that the old crop corn still has another period of life ahead of us due to tight cash markets, firm basis, etc. And I think that as we get towards the end of this month, early July, we'll be dealing with the anxiety of what final acreage will be. We'll still have strong cash markets. We'll have limited producer selling interest, I think, even though I think that that approach might not be the right approach overall. I think that's what you're going to be dealing with here for the next few weeks is an unwillingness by the producer to make sales here. And I think that sets a stage for old crop to be the strongest, sets a stage for another recovery rally to occur, even if we break corn, new crop corn this week, early this week based on weather and liquidation. If we broke at 10, 15, 20 cents, I think there's still a chance that there's going to be another upside push in D's corn that goes back to 570 again, possibly towards $6 if you were to get the right type of anticipation in terms of acreage and crop condition, because along with the poor crop development, slow crop development, and planting dates, there's a lot of holes out here in the fields that have been too wet. The crop's going to be uneven. There's going to be ponding effect that's taking place, probably some replant efforts. So I think there's reasons to be concerned about production. I don't think those reasons at this point change the overall potential for increased supply and an overall outlook that includes some cheaper prices than we've seen for a while by this fall. So I think producers need to be looking for places to make sales. The question is, could we have still a better sale opportunity in new crop corn as we get closer to the 1st of July? And I think right now the answer is probably yes, we certainly could have. But to start out the week, I think we'll be a little bit lower. So producers need to be forward-thinking, looking at new crop opportunities, especially more aggressive in soybeans at the present time. Somewhat optimistic that maybe there's still another chance to make new crop corn sales that will be better than where it is today. And I'd probably be a little hesitant to embrace weakness in new crop corn that we may experience early this week. But the overall outlook that warns of cheaper prices by the fall, I think, is a legitimate concern and something that the producers need to be making proactive efforts to seek price protection here on rallies that occur over the next 3 or 4 weeks. For the DPP Grain Desk, this has been Duane Lowry. Thank you.